Today's Morning First Alert Weather Show is brought to you by Sam Bernstein Law.
Alrighty, and good Tuesday morning, Mid-Michigan. I'm First Alert meteorologist Matthew Mondro here. Quick First Alert update here as we go throughout the remainder of this Tuesday. Wet weather definitely is still going to be the big story here in the forecast. We are tracking plenty of rain moving through. We are tracking some more rainfall later this week as well, Thursday night into Friday. So we are expecting this damp weather to just sort of stick around in the forecast, but it's not entirely damp because we at least do have a dry day ahead of us for tomorrow. So things will at least be taking a little bit of a pause for our Wednesday. I actually want to take you out right now too to I-75 in Flint Township. This is right near Miller Road. And you can definitely see here not only the wet weather from all the rain, but we even have some foggy conditions right now too, right around the Flint area. We've even seen a little bit of fog around Birch Run this morning as well. Really, in many parts of mid-Michigan, we do have this foggy and just damp weather. There's downtown Flint across the bricks, and I'll even take you over to Birch Run, and there you go. See a little bit of that fog, kind of that haze in the distance as well. But notice in the lower right corner of your screen that temperature showing up at 34 degrees, so that is some good news for many of us right now. We have warmed up just enough to help to melt away that ice from earlier this morning here. So we are seeing roads, no doubt, still wet, but at least we are seeing those roads improving a little bit compared to earlier this morning, just given now that these temperatures are starting to come back up above freezing just a little bit more. I'll go ahead and take you over to the First Alert Pinpoint Doppler, the radar. No doubt showing plenty of wet weather here as well. Notice that even some of that rainfall, the rainfall rate is picking up a little bit more near Chesaning and Birch Run right now. So that's more of a pocket of moderate rainfall. That's also extending right through southern Tuscola County near the Mayville area and into northern Lapeer County as well. But all this rain is pivoting in here from the southwest. So this is a storm system passing by. Sort of loosely say storm system because it is definitely a bit weaker than some of the other storm systems that have passed by mid-Michigan over the last couple of weeks. Kind of an interesting note about this for today, though, just given the temperatures that we do have, which right now have mostly still been sitting in the low to mid 30s, say if we did have these temperatures about 5 degrees cooler than now, just with the amount of moisture that we have, this system would be amounting to several inches of snowfall if we were a little bit colder. But because, again, those temps have come up just a little bit, that is keeping things mostly as just rain. But still an impressive amount of rain is expected for today, especially for this time of year. We are expecting rain totals to range anywhere from 1/10 up to about 1/2 of an inch, especially kind of like we've seen, and I'll take you back to the radar here in a second, but where we have some of the heaviest rain right now is where I would expect a greater tendency to have some of those totals closer to that 1/2 inch mark. So here we are in the First Alert Pinpoint Doppler again, where we do have some of that heavier rain right now, places near Chesaning, Birch Run, and Mayville, that orange and red that's coming in on the radar. That's where I would expect to see those totals by the end of today, coming up to about 1/2 of an inch of rain. Add in some of the snow melt as well. Certainly things are going to be very wet. I would still expect some damp roads to be left over even as we go into tomorrow, especially because tomorrow it's still going to be cloudy, so we won't really be able to see much in the way of evaporation. But with that, tomorrow at least a rain-free day is still ahead of us. I'll go ahead and show you the First Alert hour by hour, and one thing that I do want to point out in the hour by hour as well is that first, it does show rain continuing to take over any sort of freezing drizzle that we still might have, especially up north. But notice as we go into the afternoon, and we saw this a little bit yesterday with the hour by hour, it was trying to pick up on some snow showers for this afternoon. Now, I will say with this, I wouldn't completely rule this out, but I do think the chance of this is somewhat low for this afternoon. What it would take for this to happen is the layer of air that's just a few hundred feet above us here, that would need to cool down just enough. So we do have a little bit of a warm layer aloft as of right now. So that's helping to keep this as rain. Now, if that layer comes down a couple of degrees, that's where we could see some snow showers mixing in, but I still think even at the end of the day, this would be a mix of just rain and snow, are sort of those very large and wet snowflakes that still, if you're driving, kind of hit the windshield more like rainfall than snowfall. So I think if we do see any snow flying later today, it would be more of the case of that. So that would also lead to minimal snow accumulations, especially because those ground temps are coming up just a couple of degrees thanks to all of this rainfall. But no doubt, again, the key takeaway for the rest of this Tuesday is that it is still going to be pretty damp out there across our area. So here's the hour by hour going towards 6 o'clock this evening, still that mix of rain and snow. And as we go into tonight, we do expect a couple of lingering showers, especially closer to midnight. Should have a mix of both rain and snow showers, but this should all wind down not too long after midnight. So by tomorrow morning, again, despite some damp roads still being left over, I wouldn't expect much in the way of wet weather. At least we should be rain-free as of that point. And as we continue on throughout the rest of the morning tomorrow and into the daytime, you see that there, no rain falling. We're just holding on to the cloud coverage for your Wednesday. We do have some more rain returning to the forecast for late this week, though, on Thursday, especially Thursday evening going into Friday morning. So that's another system passing through, and that should bring some milder weather along with it as well. So we're actually talking some 40s on Thursday and Friday. Just for some context, the normal high for this time of year is 30 degrees. And we were talking about this yesterday in the stream too. We are approaching what is technically the coldest time of year here for mid-Michigan. So our average highs bottom out in the upper 20s, so we aren't too far off from that mark. So technically, even by February, those average highs start to slowly creep up. It is a very slow creep at that, but still, we are starting to approach technically the coldest time of year here for mid-Michigan. So 40s especially somewhat unusual for this time, especially towards the end of this week. What we'll do here, though, is we will take a quick break, and then when we come back from the break, we'll take a look at the hour by hour for Thursday into Friday, just sort of an early peek at that, so that if you do have some plans that you're looking ahead to towards that time, I can show you just kind of a sneak peek of what to expect for now. So again, that'll be coming up right after this break. Alrighty, welcome back from that break. So we were talking just before the break here about that chance of rain that we have towards the end of the week, Thursday going into Friday. And that chance, even though it's something that we have just been sort of loosely looking at for now because we've been more focused on today's weather, it is still something that we at least do have our eyes on in the forecast as well. So I'll go ahead and show you that here in the 7-day. Again, Thursday evening going into Friday morning, that's where we have another low pressure system passing through. So that'll bring more rain, more wet weather to our area. It does bring some 40s, albeit they'll be a little bit brief, but we should see some 40s around that time, especially Friday morning. We could have some upper 40s in the morning before temps fall going into the afternoon. So here's the first alert hour by hour. Sorry, that skipped ahead a little bit, but I'll take you through here into Thursday. This is even at about midday or early afternoon on Thursday, about 3 or 4 o'clock. At that point, this system is still off to our southwest. But as we go forward from there into the evening, this is where we see this rain picking up even more. So that right there is at about 10 in the evening on Thursday. You see more of that rain starting to pick up. And not only would that rain be for the TV5 area, but that would be for really the lower peninsula as a whole. As we go throughout Thursday night, that rain is still sticking with us, but by Friday morning, that's even at about 7 in the morning on Friday, rain is already starting to make its way out of here, and then the rest of the day on Friday should be dry after that. So that system moving through somewhat quickly. So that was one run of the hour by hour that we have, and I can show you another run of it as well, just to show you kind of a comparison and the fact that models have been agreeing pretty well on the system so far. So it is looking likely that we do have this rain moving in Thursday evening, sticks with us on Thursday night, and then Friday morning that rain starts to leave our area. Now we'll still have a little bit of fine tuning to do with the exact hour for when we see the rain leaving mid-Michigan, but it does look to be right near sunrise on Friday and then still left with dry weather for the remainder of the day after that. So that rainfall should be able to bring similar totals to what we're expecting for today. Again, we've been expecting between about 1/10 and 1/2 of an inch. This system is going to be pulling some moisture up from the Gulf. So even though we do have that dry day tomorrow, we will be back to some wet weather again for late Thursday, then into Friday. Now behind that system, we do cool down into the weekend. So by then, we'll be back to the mid to even low 30s, and we should have some snow showers returning to the forecast. That system on Saturday right now kind of looks like a transition from rain over to snow. Again, that'll largely be dictated by how the temperatures end up playing out on Saturday, but that's sort of the theme or the trend that we have seen so far with that Saturday system. But overall, I think our key takeaway for the weekend too is just the fact that I would expect to see some snow showers returning by then and temperatures starting to cool down even just a little bit more. And later next week, it does look like temps will be returning more to what we would normally expect for January. So winter still, of course, far from done just yet. But as we go throughout the rest of today, again, really just sticking with the rainfall, it's a good thing that temps have come up just above freezing, so that is helping us to sort of avoid any icing issues as of this point. I'll go ahead and show you these temps one more time. We do have about 33 in Gladwin, 34 in Saginaw, it's even 34 in Flint as of right now too. So although we only are just a couple of degrees above freezing, it is just enough above freezing to help to avoid any of the ice like we saw early this morning. So we'll hold on to this cold rain for the rest of the daytime today. So at any point, if you're heading out here, if you're heading out to lunch soon here within an hour or two, definitely just want to have the rain gear and have the umbrella ready to go. First Alert meteorologist Diane Phillips will be coming up later on today at 2 o'clock for another First Alert weather show. She'll have some more details about how things will play out for the rest of the day as well, and another look at the radar. So be sure to tune in on all of these same channels later on today at 2 o'clock. And there, Diane will have some more updates regarding the forecast. But until then, have a great remainder of your Tuesday morning and stay dry.